Obviously not. I think that's not even a question. I mean, we are living in a bounded natural system, and capitalism pretends that it's unbounded. Capitalism is always about monetizing future gains. It's always making it better, a bet on the possibility that the future will bring more returns than the present. And you're trying to sell that and monetize today. That's what the system is about. And it works because we have created the trust in institutions and the trust in the enforceability. And of course, you always have a strong speculative element as well. In a naturally bounded system, there are natural boundaries, and we are reaching them. That's why we have climate change. I'm not saying that only capitalism has produced climate change. The socialist system has contributed as well. Certainly the arms race between the two. I just read this fantastic new book by Jonathan Levy about ages in American capitalism, and he says, the real turning point were the world wars, especially World War II. So the arms race really contributed a lot. But then we have translated this into the civic sphere, right? Because once you let the genie out of the bottle, you can't put it back in. So capitalism, I think, a system that is based on the notion we can expand without any boundaries cannot survive in the long term. It's just impossible. And I think that's the real conundrum that we face, that on the one hand, it's very hard to get out of it. I don't think we can get out of it without a massive crisis, and I dread a crisis like that. And at the same time, continuing down that road dooms us. I have no doubts about that.
You mean we need the motivation of suffering?
Well, we have to constrain ourselves, and we have to think about how to distribute the losses. I think if we just continue the logic of what we have, you can just go through some of the most essential resources that we all need for survival. Think about water, the allocation of water, right? And use neoclassical economics to allocate water rights. It's an easy game, right? I mean, millions, if not billions, of people will be shut out of water if they can't pay access to water, and they will simply die, right? You will have droughts in many parts of the world, and others will try to capture the resources and survive. So some will survive, right? But we will have, but many will not. If we want to avoid, bouts of riots and civil war, and we have to think about regimes that share losses and share the increasingly limited resources that we have. Otherwise, I think the system will ultimately self-implode. I mean, Marx has always predicted this, and we have been able to manage this mostly because the collective resources that we call the state has stepped in and saved capitalism time and again from the abyss. But I think the boundedness of our natural system really is more constraining than our political will for equality or democracy or something like that.